Fucking UV TV, motherfucker. I'm at a kid spiritual ass and dudes for my people. Oh God. Yeah, nigga, for feather me in. Today I'm gonna be talking about the astrological synastry when it comes to both of ASAP Rocky's and Rihanna's Natal chart. And I'm only gonna do it for the sun and moon because if y'all really want to like a super in-depth analysis when it comes to all that type shit, go ahead, pay your boy, you know what I'm saying? Link in bio type shit, link in bio. That should be shown on my Instagram and stuff like that when it comes to me doing my readings and things of that nature. Even though I should put that in my descriptions and stuff because I show it to my social media, but if you go on any of my social medias like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok and stuff like that, you'll see it pinned, and then we can start DMing prices, all that type stuff. But just in general, yeah, I'm breaking down their synastry when it comes to their sun and their moon, and that's just really to make the video short because I really can do all of them because I'm actually a really astrologer and I can go in depth when it comes to all the nuance and essence with the whole thing, all in detail and stuff like that. And I'm just talking about the essence of their sun and their moon because those are really like the main ones. Kind of like when y'all be like, oh yeah, they big three and stuff like that. So I'm gonna just explain the sun and moon and the aspects when it comes to those. And those are really the main essential ones that are the most pivotal thing when it comes to their relationship and how they work on their relationships and the trials and tribulations or the harmonies and the pleasures they actually get from being around each other and how they able to conduct the ship and stuff like that. And they may go through those arguments and frustrations, but they rather be arguing and frustrated with each other and their way how to go about it because it's just a relationship. So it's a marriage or a commitment. So that's his bitch and that's her man type shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how it goes based upon their dynamic if you want to look at it from an astrological perspective. And it's just the, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the closest you're going to get to it without actually knowing them personally, even though you could see from a distance, oh, okay, I can see how they both can look at certain things and their outlooks and stuff like that based upon their synastry and what goes where and stuff like that. And I'm not including the houses either because I know we have Rihanna's birth time, but we don't really have A$AP Rocky's birth time. And I'm not going to go all that deep trying to deep dive and find all that shit and find out his birth time so I can find out the Pacific houses that's going in what Pacific house and things of that nature and different house lords and stuff like that, even though it's going to add more nuance. But just the surface level sun and moon when it comes to their sign tree. So A$AP Rocky is a sun in Libra and a Cancer moon, and Rihanna is a Aquarius Pisces cusp sun, but is more in Pisces and an Aries moon. Now, when it comes to the sun, because I feel like I want to break down the sun and the moon, the essence of, you know what I'm saying, those celestial bodies. Both of those are celestial bodies. So the same way how you look at a natal chart and it's a sky map. So it's showing their atmosphere. It's showing their world in the different star alignments and different aspects and stuff like that to make them when it comes to their personality, their individuality, and how they operate their realm or their world and their perspective worldviews and stuff like that, and how all those different things get aligned and how it goes through the different transits and how they deal with those uh, deal with those aspects, so to speak. Now, the sun just means like a son, like a male child, and like the fatherly energy or it being a source, the same way how the moon, the mother, is also a source. So it's like father, son, mother, moon. And it's based upon the sun like to be seen in a certain way and perceived and felt, and it's based upon attention span. And then the woman is based upon the womb or the emotion and feelings, the same way how the moon is, how it go through different moon phases and stuff like that, and transitions and different shades and different spectrums of how they're gonna go through the different shifts, aka the moon phases, it being fulfilled, it going through a new moon, it waxing and waning, and yeah, and it trying to make it into a container, which eventually leads to a comfort zone and how to nurture and take care of something. So it's like a father sun, mother moon, or father sky, and caring about the mother land. If I want to use it as an allegory to make it simple to understand. So the sun just represents your actions in the way you act, what you're proactive in, you being the fatherly source. So the farthest direction, the same way how men get erect and how it stand upright. So making something more broad, and is based upon your light, what you're providing, giving out, creating, and your perceptions, your wants, what you strive for, and how you see things or want to be seen, viewpoints, visualizations, where you're enlightened at. So how you shine your light, and that's the lighter shape and form, the light body, and your solar plexus, individuality, gut instincts, how you gonna turn something into gold. That's why it emanates that yellow aura and color spectrum. The protector and the shield for the moon, based upon what you're paying attention to, attention span, awareness, how you get attention, and your the things you have pride in, confidence, character, charisma, and personality, because personality is based upon the actuality of you as a person, and it's a per sun, so it's your piece of the sun. You get it? So it's just how you try to, it's like who you are externally, like how you want to be seen. And then the moon represents the emotions and feelings, reactions, the responses, when you redirect shit, self-reflection, self-introspection, attraction. So it's the attraction or the heaviness or the accumulation of the light. So it's the accumulation of paying attention to something for a long period of time. Eventually it leads into that condension containing womb, and you concentrating on something long enough until it becomes concrete based upon how you feel. It's not just about the perception of how you want to be seen. It's going to turn to how you feel now when it comes to those emotions and feelings. So it's kind of like projecting and expanding, externalizing something when it comes to the sun. And then when it comes to the moon, it's containing, condensing, and contracting, and taking care and nurturing something. It's like taking care of a household type shit. And then the men is gonna go provide or look for something that's gonna that's outside of their comfort zone or outside of the household and stuff like that, to keep it, to make it so you can add more things to keep the household being built and stuff like that. So it's like upkeep and things of that nature. Even though the moon represents, like upkeep too, by nurturing and taking care, but you need to provide more things to make it so it can keep being maintained. That's like you going out and you having a job and you going out to get money while your wife go cook and clean the house and stuff like that. But you getting that money is gonna make it so you can provide more energy to add on to the household. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, it's your needs. Yeah, the sun would be like the wants, and then the moon would be like your needs. And comfort zone, mood, phases, absorbing, soaking, getting drunk off of emotion and feeling, and things of that nature. So it's just you soaking up game or internalizing something, but you can't internalize without projecting something outwardly first. So you're emanating, and then after you emanate, eventually, instead of you giving something, now you have something to take, or you have something to soak up, or something to learn based upon the experiences that you done acted upon, so to speak. Now that we understand the sentiment, now we can actually get into it. So his sun is in Libra, and it opposes against her moon in Aries. Now Libra just represents initiating and creating new ways to think and communicate, and Aries represents initiating and creating new ways to see and feel about something. And they're both opposing each other. So from it being going through an opposition, you could either, you know what I'm saying, even out the odds type shit, so you can make it balanced instead of it being something that you're antagonizing and you look at like your enemy, or you learn how to how to balance it out, so to look at that as like agreeing to disagree type shit. So you understand, oh, okay, we're like evenly matched and we're rivals and we two opposite energies and stuff like that. But then sometimes you can have that crossover of we both rivals or we're both enemies, but we're working together for the same cause type shit. So it's evening out the odds and balancing something out instead of it turning to like a catastrophic moment where we both have to oppose each other, and then it's gonna go for that tit for tat type of energy to see who can be the most biggest degenerate, who can be the most biggest villain, the biggest evil and stuff like that, who can be more opposing against the other person and stuff like that, who can be more demonic or devilish compared to the other motherfucker, who can be more deadly and horrible towards the other motherfucker, and then it's gonna turn into like a whole competition, tit for tat type of energy. Now Libra is an air sign, so from it being an air signs like to act cool, calm, collected, because it's like them projecting something in the air or observing something in the air, and they see what's circulating, they see the thought forms, the communication, they see what's being talked about in general. And Libra is better supported by the seventh house. So it deals with relationships. So dealing with relationships, it just deals with being relative or just being relative relationships and relatability. That's the word I was looking for. Relatability, because it's also uh ruled by the planet Venus. So it deals with love, value, and appreciation, compromise, beauty, attractiveness, charm, aesthetic. And when it comes to Rihanna, hers is a fire sign. So from it being fiery, it's gonna be hot and enticing. So the same way how you fire a gun, right? You shooting, you attacking, you bombarding, you're blowing something up, you're gassing something up. You know what I'm saying? Like gaslighting type shit. You know what I'm saying? But from it being fire and being the light, you lightening something up. It's like lightening your load instead of it being heavy. So when it comes to fire signs, they like being really expressive, and they go based upon how they see and feel based upon that perception. So they have they always like to have visions or have a visualization of how they see it, and they want that visualization to be felt. So when it comes to how they deal with their emotions and feelings, because it's an internal sign, right? They like to take visions of the internal realm and like to project it outwardly. They like to externalize it. They like to express it. They like to expand it, so to speak. They like it being perceived, or it having another perception, or it being seen in another light, right? So fire signs like being hot, spicy, enticing, and it's based upon spontaneous, expressive type of energy. They ain't thinking about how people are gonna feel about it. They ain't thinking about how people are gonna think and communicate and try to articulate, or I mean not articulate. They trying to analyze or intellectualize how they felt based upon how they see things, and they don't really give a fuck how it looks like in the physical reality. They don't care about it being grounded either. They're just trying to project and get that shit off and move on to the next thing. It's them burning off energy, so to speak. So when it comes to when it comes to ASAP Rocky being a Libra sun, and then Rihanna being a Aries moon, her comfort zone is Aries like energy. So she likes to put herself first. And oh yeah, I meant to bring that up too. Yeah, like it's better supported by the first house. So it's personalizing things, or you putting yourself first because it's your rising, it's your ascendant. So it's based upon your personal outlooks and personal circumstances, and you thinking more about yourself instead of it being a self-undoing. So you're thinking about how you think first, or how you feel about things first, and then it trickles down to how everyone else feels, because it's just your personal way of how you conduct yourself based upon your personality, of your personal appearance, and how you want things to be seen from your outlooks. You get what I'm saying? So look at it like your sun is like your actions and your viewpoints of how you want to be seen, and then your first house is just your personal way of how you make that scene. Or when it comes to the moon, your personal way of how you deal with your emotions and feelings and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's based upon it being a rising and ascendant. It's how you ascend. It's how you want it to be faced, or how you gonna let it be seen in the forefront, so to speak. So when it comes to, like, let's say this was like the moon, right? And let's say like you had a moon in like Leo and stuff like that, right? So your from you having a I can't even talk. From you having a moon in Leo, you're fixated in your own way when it comes to seeing and feeling based upon you getting attention. So you already feel like you get attention in general because that's your comfort zone, right? That's how you deal with your emotions and feelings. You deal with them by basically making them be seen type shit. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like even when you in your comfort zone behind closed doors, you still feel like people are watching. You always feel like you're setting up the stage for something. You always feel like you're making people enticed based upon how you express yourself and stuff like that. And you still be you be feeling like motherfuckers be copying you, even though nobody give a fuck about anything you giving a fuck about. You know what I'm saying? Their comfort zone is giving pride or praise to themselves and their own abilities and stuff like that. So based upon that, let's say your rising was like in Capricorn, just like mine, right? So your personal way of how you go about your comfort zone is structure, discipline, initiating, creating new ways to think and practicalize. You putting something into practice, and it's based upon a status, a positioning, or your career and stuff like that, or how you want to be seen, and you go into distance with that. So is you trying to push forward some type of business or something that you want to ground or something you want to materialize, and your personal way of how you go about your comfort zone is you going, yeah, like, yeah, your personal way of how you go about your comfort zone, aka your moon being in Leo, is you structuring how you want to get attention. You get what I'm saying? And then it's a whole in conjunction because you know what I'm saying, Capricorn is gonna in conjunct against Leo. So sometimes you're gonna feel embarrassed or you're gonna feel like this weird, awkward type of energy because your comfort zone is you standing up the stage and you trying to gain attention for something based upon how you see and feel and you express yourself. But Capricorn, they wanna because it's like Saturn, so it's dealing more with reality. So it's kind of like Leos, since they're a fire sign, they don't give a fuck about dealing with reality in general. Like all fire signs, they don't really give a fuck about how it looks like in the physical. They don't care about the societal construct around it. They don't care about it being structured and stuff like that. They just doing it for the sake of expression and the vision of how they see themselves. So if it don't fit into the diaphragm of, let's say, we in the industry and stuff like that, based upon your career or whatever and stuff like that, they ain't really giving a fuck about that like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just want their comfort zone to be seen in a way that they can get attention. And Capricorn is more about structuring and based upon boundary restrictions and limits. Because from them putting boundary restrictions and limits on their expression, that's how they get good discipline. But Leos don't even give a fuck about that because they just caring about expression and getting attention and stuff like that. So in general, it'll be awkward having a Capricorn rising, but your moon is in Libra. I mean, your moon is in Leo, because you caring about the status and positioning, and you have to structure your life in a certain way based upon your personal outlook of how you look at it. But your comfort zone is all about getting attention, and you don't even give a fuck about that structure. So then it's gonna be a tit for tat when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that was just me explaining an example. But overall, when it comes to yeah, the Ace Araki's sun opposing Rihanna's moon, which is in Aries, her comfort zone is initiating creating new ways to see and feel, being perceived, and the way she want to conduct her visualizations and her visions and her imagination, right? And that's how she feels, and she wants that to be felt. So she wants how she the thing she wants to be felt is her personal outlooks when it comes to things, because it's putting yourself first. So it's like putting yourself in the forefront, and it's like you being early to a pocket, because if you in the front, you come before. It's like the beginning of the alphabet. You are the spark, you are the beginning, and then it's a spring sign. It's a springtime sign on top of that. So she like to spring something off, germinate a seed, and she wants people to warm up to her way of how to go about something, because springtime is warm. That's the time when things start to warm up and stuff like that. And then she a fire sign, so she really like to warm up things. You know what I'm saying? She made everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when things are like starting to get warmed up, she the one who's like the most hot, the most enticing, the most attractive, the most people are paying attention to and stuff like that. The most ambitious, the most like, oh, okay, she putting herself in the forefront. She doing something early. She want to be seen for this and that and stuff like that, based upon the visions of how she see herself in her minds, or her trying to accomplish her dreams and stuff like that. And then on top of that, she a Pisces, so she's gonna make that happen and go through that whole mechanism transition to make sure that shit happen. And then the way how it's a Rocky want to be seen, it's a fall time sign. So the same way how the leaves start to fall and die out and deteriorate and stuff like that, is when it all falls down, and it's the accumulation of some of spring and summer. So from it being the accumulation, autumn time is when the forestation of the seeds you planted that became that basically bloomed and came to life during the summer. I mean, during the spring and the summertime, it reaches its fullest maturity. But that's when it started to go through that harvest season, because now it's going to go through that cool down period. So from it going through that cool down, and things getting more cold and chilly and nippy and stuff like that, right? That's when the leaves start deteriorating and stuff like that. So you have to go get all the good crops while they fully mature. So you have all the food, all the crops, and all the livestock that's already handled before it gets super cold, to where you can't plant those same seeds type shit. You know what I'm saying? You can't eat all the abundant ripe fruit or vegetables and stuff like that in your esoteric garden eating and stuff like that. Like I'm talking spiritually speaking, right? But we see that in reality too. I'm just trying to make it make sense based upon the example and the allegory that I'm trying to explain. But y'all get what the fuck I'm saying. So from it going through that cool down period, he like to come off cool, calm, collected all the way down to an air sign. Like that's like air conditioning, right? And it blows cool air. That's why you get an air conditioner. So he like being a cool, jiggy, fly type of nigga. You know what I'm saying? Because air signs, they like being cool. They don't like to react too much compared to like a fire and a water sign, because they're you know what I'm saying? They're the fillers, right? Because they do things based upon the yin realm or the internal realm. They're the fillers. The external signs, or you know what I'm saying, the ones that like dealing with the external realm in reality, they don't really give a fuck about feelings like that. They care about the logic and the practicality behind things, and the meaning and reasoning and the starting point. So they don't really give a fuck about them feelings, because they feel like those feelings is gonna hold them back, or those feelings is gonna make them slow down, because they think based they the way they think is more based upon like a thought form. They don't like to go based upon emotion and feeling, because they gonna feel like their thoughts are slowing down to appeal to a container or like a womb, or you know what I'm saying, doing it for the sake of feeling good, when I can just analyze the feeling like a scientific method type of motherfucking stuff like that. I want to pick apart the feeling. I want to intellectualize the feeling. I want to analyze the feeling instead of actually just being in the feeling itself. You get what I'm saying? Like, so air and earth signs, they'll rather intellectualize the feelings instead of actually being in the feeling, because they rather be out of it. You know what I'm saying? Outside the womb, outside the container and stuff like that. They don't want to be in it. They rather just be out of it and pay attention to it and analyze it and stuff like that and pick it apart, instead of actually just being in the feeling itself. But that's the thing that makes them lack it makes them lack vibrancy. It makes them lack a vibe when they do that too much. But just in general, yeah, the way how A$AP Rocky wants to be seen and the things he likes to be acting towards and proactive in when it comes to him being a Libra, that's like him caring about his relationships, him being cool, calm, collected and stuff like that, him being more in thinking and communicating and having the right talking point behind something and the right way of how to think about something, instead of it being based upon our emotion and feeling, compared to Rihanna's comfort zone. Her comfort zone is emotions and feelings and being hot, spicy, and hot, spicy, and enticing. So from them opposing each other, his actions is more catered towards relationships and making those things balanced, kind of like Ma'at, right? And you know what I'm saying? Like, because Ma'at, when it comes to Egyptian and stuff like that, it represents Libra. So it's like balancing the scales, so to speak. So he cares about that more, but it takes him away from putting himself first, because the opposite of the first house is the seventh house. So it's literally like that. Instead of you putting yourself first, you rather people please, or you rather think about how someone else feels so I can make it more diplomatic and make it fair. And Rihanna's comfort zone, she really don't give a fuck about that. She cares about putting herself first and her gratifying herself first, so it may come off way more selfish. And they both cardinal signs in general when it comes to that. But the way of how they can balance that out is, right, when it comes to the way he wants to be seen and his actions, even though it opposes against her comfort zone, the way how they balance that out is them understanding each other in the sense of, hold on. So yeah, like Rihanna can help A$AP Rocky be more selfish when it comes to certain things and putting himself first and how he wants to be seen. And A$AP Rocky, when it comes to Rihanna's comfort zone, he can help her be more selfless when it comes to how she feels about stuff. AKA look at that as it's not always about you type shit. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to let go of that ego and care about what other people care about, and you have to be more fair, and you have to keep things more balanced, not make things unbalanced and going against even out the odds and stuff like that. It's not all about how you feel. It's not all about how you see it. Sometimes it's about us trying to balance out this relationship based upon us talking about it, conversation, us analyzing and you know what I'm saying, putting it out there in the atmosphere and stuff like that. Air sign qualities. Now, next one, because like I went through that, man. I didn't even, man. I'm on the first one. I'm only on the first one. I went that deep, but look. I ain't gonna do it no more because the rest is just me going in about the sun, and then the last part is just the his moon in Cancer. So I don't have to explain Libra again, but I am gonna have to explain Rihanna's other placements and stuff like that. But it's not gonna go as long. Like man, like I went deep just off that one, but yeah. Next aspect, yeah, Sun in Libra, trine Mercury in Aquarius. So it's a rocky Sun is in Libra, and it trines, it trines Rihanna's Mercury in Aquarius. Now, trines are like gifts or like talents and like abilities and stuff like that, right? So it's like because it's looked at as a harmonious aspect and stuff like that. Even though y'all be going based upon dichotomies, based upon the divination y'all be using. You know what I'm saying? Because it's always, you know what I'm saying? Like there's always uh uh there's always like an opposite. You know what I'm saying? Like like just the same way when it comes to opposition, when it comes to that aspect and stuff like that, right? There's always the opposite energy when it comes to something. Like you can't get the thing itself without the other thing. You can't get good without the bad, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? You can't get God without the devil, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all about like a balancing type of thing. It's like a mechanism in a transition. You know what I'm saying? It's God transitioning into the devil, or it's the good transitioning into the bad. But then the bad can transition into something that's good and stuff like that. So it's you understanding the whole mechanism. So when it comes to trines, and then it representing your gifts, talents, and abilities and stuff like that, like a natural gift, talent, and an ability, when you overuse or you overexalt based upon your talent, your natural gift, talent, and ability and stuff like that, sometimes you can overcompensate when it comes to that. So because you're so good at something, now it's hard for you to go through that trial and tribulation. It's hard for you to go through that pain, and it's gonna lead to you being unfulfilled because you feel like you already good at something type shit. And because it comes naturally to you, now it's like you trying to find a weakness based upon your strength. You get it? So it's kind of like that, if you want to look at it in a way to where you can understand the whole aspects. So it's like if someone has like a lot of trines and sextiles, okay, that's good, harmonious aspects and stuff like that, but it can lead to areas of laziness or procrastination because you have too much of a good thing and you need struggle to make it so you can keep on honing that ability to keep going so you can go through things that are more harmonious and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, oh yeah, it come naturally to you and it come easy, but now you're not going through no trial and tribulation. Now you're not going through no square moment frustration. You ain't going through no you know what I'm saying? Like you're not going through something that's unfulfilled already type shit. So then it's gonna turn into you being in a comfort zone and you being a leisure because now you're too good at something because you have nothing to balance out the scales. You have nobody who's willing to compete at the same level you at, so to speak, because you too good at that thing type shit. So now you feel like I don't gotta try, even though that's not what life is about and stuff like that. Yeah, you try until you actually get to the thing and then find something else to try harder at. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's a whole different thing. That's a whole different video in itself. But just in general, yeah, the sun in Libra trining her Mercury in Aquarius. So trine meaning natural gift, talent, and ability. Mercury representing uh, communication, analyzing, intellect, fast, quick thinking, and stuff like that. Thinking qualities, and it's in Aquarius. So being fixated on one's own way of how to think and communicate when it comes to the public arena, the unknown and unfamiliar, and making their individuality dualistic and going the distance with that. And also it being better supported by Uranus and Saturn I already explained, and Uranus dealing with unique difference and originality. But when you take that too far, it can turn into you looking like a weirdo, or you coming off like a degenerate, or you being opposing for no reason, radical and rebellious, and you trying to be like Huey Newton, New Age Black Panther revolutionary and stuff like that, when you just getting utilized for some bullshit. But like that's a whole different video. That's a whole different video. You know what I'm saying? Like you feel like you like a revolutionary, but just in general, a revolutionary is just recreating evolution. So you can utilize that based upon force, or you can do that based upon you naturally trying to recreate something and you trying to evolve it and try to go the distance, trying to make it go further, or you can recreate something and create it for some and you and utilize your creations for degenerate reasons, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? So you can pioneer or revolutionize something that no one done did before because you was able to do it in a unique, different, and original way from you being opposing or contrarian like, and they may not get it at first, but eventually leads to energies of you being in your own pocket because no one else was doing that during that time when you was doing it, and now you made a pocket and you made a lane. And her Mercury is an Aquarius. So from her having her Mercury in Aquarius, when it comes to her thinking quality, when it comes to how she analyzes things, when it comes to the things she be informed about, when it comes to how she communicates, I'm pretty sure I already said that though. But yeah, from it being in Aquarius, it's her being fixated in her own way of thinking and communicating. Now, ASAP Rocky, when it comes to his son and his actions and how you want to be seen and perceived and how he gains attention, right, and his viewpoints, yeah, like the things he already act upon, right, it's gonna add a natural gift, talent, and ability to make it so it's communicated or articulated properly when it comes to how she thinks how she thinks and communicates in general. So the way how Rocky wants to be seen is gonna be really informative with Rihanna and how she thinks and communicates when it comes to how she deals with the public arena based upon her making her individuality dualistic, so to speak, because Aquarius deals with associates, right? So that's like fans or people who you don't know like that on a broad scale. So that's why Aquarius is be into talking to strangers and stuff like that because they feel like they can learn a lot more information from strangers and people who they don't know compared to their own friends and family. And they rather go the distance when it comes to that instead of putting themselves first because it's a wintertime sign. So they like being cold, dead, distant. And when things are cold, dead, distant, frozen, that's when things are stopped up and things are snowed in and stuff like that. And it's, you know what I'm saying? Like you like frozen in time type shit. And when it's frozen in time, it's you trying to recreate an energy while also being frozen in time at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's kind of like that recreational type of energy. You was able to go through the full mechanism of spring, summer, and fall because winter is just the accumulation of all those different seasonal transitions, and now it's just the hard work you put in, and now it don't stop now. You know what I'm saying? It's completely inactive, and now it's something that's substantiated because you went through all the different mechanisms, right? And you was able to recreate that energy even when it's wintertime type shit. You was able to recreate a way of talking and communicating and and things of that nature, even though we're cold and dead and distant from each other right now. So that's why a lot of stuff when it comes to like they'll be like, oh, Aquariuses are into technology and stuff like that, and they're into devices and stuff like that, or they're into the external realm and being alien and weird and all that type stuff. That's where all that be coming from. Like, oh, they're into like science and like gadgets and stuff like that. No, they're talking about they're just making an allegory to that seasonal transition or that pocket of the sun during that space and time in those different geographical locations, right? When things start to become really cold, dead distance, and then we have things like cell phones to recreate that energy, even if we ain't able to be as outside during the spring and summertime. You know what I'm saying? We ain't able to be as highly passionate or in a high temperament because everyone got you know what I'm saying, everyone is basically inside and they, you know what I'm saying, they all got a fur coats and bubble coats and all that type stuff. They made a way to recreate that energy, cell phones. You know what I'm saying? So it's them being fixated on thinking and communicating even when things are cold, dead, and distant. And that's the thing that ASAP Rocky, when it comes to how he's seen and his actions and how he wants to be perceived and how he gains attention, is gonna add a natural gift, talent, and ability when it comes to how Rihanna wants to communicate those things in the public arena based upon how he wants to be seen for his relationships or being relatable. He's able to relate it in a way that's gonna be helpful or harmonious to how she wants to conduct herself in a public arena at a distance when it comes to her fans and stuff like that. She could, like, basically, right? It's kind of like the way how he conducts his relationships, right? It helps how Rihanna wants to conduct her fan base or her associates and stuff like that, or like business partners or like networking and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like the way how he conducts his relationships, it adds better quality towards how she likes to network things in general. And then next one, okay, Sun in Libra opposing her Venus in Aries. So Venus just deals with love, value, and appreciation, charm, attraction. You know what I'm saying? But like sexual attraction, right? Like pleasurable, aesthetically pleasing type of attraction for the most part. So it's like drawing attention, but it's like drawing attention in a pleasurable type of way, based upon relatability, love, and appreciation, compromise, all that type stuff. So it's in Aries. Now Venus don't like being in Aries because Venus, and then when Venus being in Aries, a person would rather love themselves instead of actually showing love, because love is something that's shared, not something that's based upon something of the self type shit. You trying to keep all that love for yourself, so it make it really hard for you to share that or make it relatable or relative to somebody else and stuff like that. You rather give it to yourself. And then the way how Esaraki, when it comes to how he wants to be seen, it's opposing against how Rihanna like to be loved. She like that selfish type of love type shit. What's that one song? And then look, he on the song too. Cockiness, I love it type shit. Even though, like in that, even though throughout that song she's saying shit like, I love it, I love it, I love I love when you eat it, and fucking I love your cockiness. That's my persuasion and stuff like that. It's like that energy in itself. Like she likes cocky guys in general because that's like Venus and Aries type of energy. Oh, you love someone who's very assertive. You love someone who's willing to initiate their way of how they visualize, their way of how they go about things and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And they don't really give a fuck about how anybody else feels about that. So she like, you know what I'm saying? Because the sun is exalted in Aries. So you like someone who's really assertive and action oriented, and you like and sit there and be like, oh yeah, that's mine. Oh yeah, this is my way of how I want to express. This is my way of how I want to be seen and stuff like that. I don't give a fuck how y'all see it. You know what I'm saying? Like if this is like a really like negative type of Aries, or an Aries that's really on a mission. You know what I'm saying? They are men on a mission. They really passionate and stuff like that. They be in high temperament. They all like, man, this shit gonna go like this. It's gonna go like that. This is how I want to express it. This is how it's gonna be seen. This is how it's gonna be visualized. I don't give a fuck how any of y'all look at that shit and stuff like that. She like that cockiness. She like that, oh, this motherfucker like got big dick energy and stuff like that. Like that's Aries type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like because they're like separating themselves, because Mars deals with like separation, not like warlike destructive type of energies. No, it's you being free flowing, independent and stuff like that. So from you being independent, that is you putting yourself first. So it's you on your own, alone, you being separate. So it's that passionate type of energy of, oh, this motherfucker's trying to, like, they trying to see it in a certain way, and that's their way of expressing it, and no one else burn their fire like that. No one else acts like that. No one else views things like that. Like she like that energy. So the way how Ace want to be seen, he wants to be seen in a cool, calm, collected type of way. He wants to be seen like, oh yeah, I'm mad relatable and stuff like that. Oh, I'm a pretty fly nigga and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like pretty boy shit. And when it comes to how he wants to be seen, the way how Rihanna wants to be loved, she don't really give a fuck about that. So that's how they can clash and stuff like that. The way he wants to be seen, she don't really give a fuck about that, because she rather give all that love to herself and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Even though they both celebrities, and she can see, oh, okay, this motherfucker got money. Oh, okay, this motherfucker kind of innovative when it comes to cloud rap and stuff like that. Oh, okay, this motherfucker is like a renaissance man. I'm just using words that he be saying, right? Oh, he's a renaissance man. Oh, yeah, he's like the new black urban version of what that is for millennials and stuff like that. Yeah. But it's kind of like I'm trying to see that side of him. I'm trying to see that, oh yeah, this motherfucker is want to be cocky a little bit. He's still gonna be the man though. He don't care about being relatable and trying to maintain the balance of the relationships when it comes to things like that. He ain't caring about being relatable. And then it lead to stuff like her, what's it called? Not her. Lead to stuff like them being on NTV and him grabbing her ass on ETV and stuff like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I did that for Harlem. And then motherfuckers like, oh yeah, that nigga really did that. He really did that. She liked that energy though. You can pay attention to all Rihanna relationships and stuff like that. She likes niggas like that. She likes niggas like that. Like, oh, this nigga got the assets. Oh, this motherfucker got big dick energy. Oh, nah, he running this. Oh, yeah, he doing this, that, and the third and stuff like that. So it's kind of like she don't really give a fuck about the aesthetic when it comes to that, because she gonna be looking at the motherfucker like he a pushover type shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's like Libra people pleasing type of energy. But when applied in the right way, it's initiating, creating new ways to think and communicate and how to be relatable. And Rocky understand that part. Oh, I'm gonna utilize my my relatability, so I can initiate another way that people can be a part of, and I'm gonna make that cool, even if it look uncool. Somehow, some way, I'm gonna make that shit look cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put out in the atmosphere, and then automatically, the minute you be around in that environment and stuff like that, you all like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, this different. This different. This is like I ain't seen no shit like this. This like a movement. But this shit cool though. Like, I like the way he went about that. I like the sentiment and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like shit like that. So again, it's like what I was saying before. The way how he acts and his viewpoints and how he wants to be, and how he wants to be seen and perceived and how he gains attention and stuff like that. It's kind of like Rocky helps Rihanna learn it's not all about you when it comes to love and appreciation, because that's not real love, because love has to be shared. And Rihanna helps Rocky when it comes to sometimes when you like the things you love and appreciate, you have to let go of that people pleasing type of energy so you can love yourself about something, because that's Venus and Aries type of energy just in general. They like to love themselves. So she like whatever relationship you got or whatever validation that you got based upon how you seen, sometimes niggas need to warm up to this new you. So people got to warm up to your way of how to go about things. And then he be talking about this shit in interviews and stuff like that. Like, he loved how she's a down ass bitch. And even early on, she was like, these friends that you got, this nigga, he a real brother. He a real friend. This nigga though, he ain't no real friend like that. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna be solid. He ain't gonna be, yeah. She could peak that because Venus and Aries type of energy and stuff like that. She already love herself. So she like other people who love themselves and stuff like that, and who know how to be an individual and a person who know how to be a person on their own without needing help and stuff like that, or assistance. Not to say there's something wrong with assistance and appreciation and support and stuff like that, but she rather give that to herself. So she like other people who love themselves. So she can peep game of, oh, okay, this motherfucker individual, and then he around my man and stuff like that, but I can tell this nigga actually is for him, and he know how to tell the difference. He's not dependent on him. He got his own shit going, but this is his man's though. Compared to somebody else where they like, yeah, he cool, but I can tell he leeching off my man. I can tell he only around based upon the relationship, but he don't even got his own shit. In the minute this nigga stop hanging around this nigga, he gonna get envious. He gonna get jealous. He gonna be like, what the fuck? Like, man, you all with your girl and shit. You ain't hanging with the boys. You ain't hanging with the niggas no more and stuff like that. You got a family now, nigga. Like, yeah, like what the fuck? Like, but that's the simplest way of how I can explain it. But that's how Rihanna be peeping game. So that's how they balance each other out, because it's two things opposite. But that's how it can balance each other out to even out the odds. Now, Sun and Libra squaring Neptune and Capricorn. Now, squaring just means it's like a learning process. But when you learn through that process, it's gonna lead to frustration. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna lead to frustration and a challenge for you to overcome that, but you learn something from it. So that's what squares represent. So it's kind of like the same modality, but it's a different element. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, and then Neptune just represents dreams, illusions, imagination, intuitive outlook, false beliefs, false experiences, escapism, right? And also, I feel like I'm missing one, but for the most part, it just represents dreams, imaginations, illusions, fantasy that can turn into false beliefs or false education, right? Or bro, I feel like I'm missing one. It's bothering the fuck out of me, because both Jupiter rules over Sagittarius and Pisces. The only difference is Pisces, they be more delusional when it comes to dealing with that Jupiterian type of energy. And Jupiter just deals with expansion, knowledge, wisdom, meanings and reasonings, philosophical point of views, education, spirituality, God, and all that type stuff. So it's just they look at it in a more dreamlike lens. So sometimes they can't tell what's real or not. But they're supposed to take their dreams and their illusions and their fantasies and turn it into an imagination and try to create it in reality in some way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? They have to utilize their creativity so they can make their dreams come true. They can turn their illusions into an imagination and make them come true instead of it being an illusion and then eventually turn into a delusion, or what I like to call a deadly illusion, a descending illusion. So something that's harmful for them to actually do because you can't tell the difference from it in general. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a dream where this is your dream, but you don't know what it's going to take for you to accomplish that dream. And then let's say you start to get there to where you're getting closer and closer to accomplish your dream and stuff like that, right? But you have to sacrifice certain things that you really don't have to sacrifice like that. And like you're doing it for the monetary gain to get to that next step, but you end up realizing you stabbed somebody in the back type shit, or you was being really delusional. It actually was really harmful for you to indulge into that illusion, into that imagination, just in general. But you wanted to accomplish your dream, so you felt like that's what you need to stab somebody in the back, or you did what you had to do and stuff like that. You had to be delusional. You had to feed into whatever illusion they was feeding you, because they could see you had the creativity. They see, oh, okay, this your dream and stuff like that. Oh, you just have to do this, or walk through this door, or hang around this people. So you're willing to go through the experience, but then you end up realizing later down the line you was being delusional, or you realizing down the line you was getting a fearmonger or witchcraft practice on you and stuff like that. Witchcraft just means bitchcraft, so it's just a female sorceress, because that's what a witch is, and it's just crafting reality utilizing our emotion and feeling. So it's kind of like they dangle that dream of how it's gonna feel once you accomplish it, but they ain't tell you the other part of what you had to sacrifice just to accomplish that dream and stuff like that. Sign this contract. You know what I'm saying? It's like some shit like that. If there was like a record executive and stuff like that, sign this contract and we gonna own all your royalties and stuff like that. We gonna own all your shit and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But you gonna get on Billboard. You gonna hang with Rihanna, A$AP Rocky and stuff like that. You gonna be on TV. You gonna be on Rolling Loud and stuff like that. Just sign this contract, and then you get all geeked and yeah, I'm gonna accomplish my dream and stuff like that. And you get lost into that feeling and emotion. And then behind closed doors, boy, they going crazy. They hit a crazy lick, crazy scam. And then after 3 albums and stuff like that, your deal about to close and stuff like that. Now you want to get out of your deal and shit. Now it's you finding out I ain't even getting no money like that while being in the deal and stuff like that. What the fuck? I put in all this work in and shit, and y'all was just taking advantage of me. That's how I be like. But in general, right? Her Neptune is in Capricorn. So from her Neptune being in Capricorn, it's just initiating creating new ways when it comes to thinking and practicalizing when it comes to dry like energy for the most part. So even though it's dry and it's in a drought and it's lacking moisture, or it's emotionless, and you don't feel that connected towards that thing because it come off cold, dead, distant, so to speak, right? It's simple though, because even if a motherfucker dry, it's simple, because they'll be like, oh, this motherfucker dry, this motherfucker boring, but it's simple and you know where they stand at though. You know what I'm saying? So from it being a Capricorn and also a wintertime type sign, so they like to keep things frozen cold because it's just the accumulation of spring, summer, and fall. So from it being frozen cold, now it's inactive. Now things are as hot, spicy, and enticing, and things aren't getting warmed up because now it went through that cool down period, and now it's just frozen in a block of time and stuff like that. So from you going through that winter time and stuff like that, things are just stuck, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? It just is what it is type shit. So when it comes to Capricorns and them dealing with reality, and them being an earth sign, right? They like to materialize things. They like to ground things, but they like to initiate and create new ways to ground and materialize things based upon their status, positioning, and their career. So when it comes to Rihanna and her dreams and her imagination and her creativity, she likes to be in that fantasy realm of status, of her career, of her position, and like to initiate and create a new way to materialize that and make that stand still. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like wintertime. She wants that to stand still type shit. I just want you to stand still and only look at me based upon my dreams and imagination, based upon my status, my positioning, and my career, and how I want to be in broadcasting and stuff like that. Don't look at me as nothing else. Yeah, look at me as the... Hold on. So she wants y'all to look at... What the fuck? She got blurry. What the hell? Okay, there we go. But... yeah, she wants y'all to look at her based upon her status and her position and how she want to be broadcasted, look at her as, oh, the billionaire who was a singer slash rapper and songwriter and performer and entertainer who also makes lingerie and perfume and stuff like that. And I'm the baddest bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like if I want to make that mad simple and stuff like that. So based upon my output of how I look at my dreams and my imagination and stuff like that, that's the thing when it comes to her status and her positioning from her having Neptune and Capricorn. That's how she wants to be seen in general. And she likes to experience that realm. So she likes being in that feeling. She likes being in those experiences. That's how she likes to go through escapism and stuff like that. Like, that is her escapism, her status, her positioning, her career, and how she wants to be broadcasted. And it's not just based upon like the monetary gain and stuff like that, because I feel like I got intuition. I feel like I got to break that down. Like, don't look at it like, oh, because her success and her being a billionaire, oh, that's what it is. No, it's based upon her getting better at that ability. That's the true success. So it's not based upon material success, even though it is an earth sign. So it is going to look like, oh, it's based upon the liquid. It's based upon what she materialized, because that's how earth signs think. They think based upon the physical and reality. But it's just about grounding that energy. So even if she ain't have that $1 billion success and stuff like that, she like being grounded, or you know what I'm saying? She likes to ground or solidify that energy. So it's kind of like, it's going to come off real. It's going to come off genuine and stuff like that, because I'm triple earth, right? Even though I'll be talking about a lot of spiritual shit or things that are incorporeal or things that are immaterialized, the way how I'm able to express it, I'm able to express it in a practical, realistic type of way, to where even if you don't see that in reality, you could see where I'm coming from and it feel like it's real. That's the simplest way of how I can explain it. So it's kind of like when it comes to her dreams and imagination, right? That's how she likes to go about them just in general. Initiate and create a new way to think and practicalize that and materialize that. So it's her getting better at that ability, and we can see how far she was able to go with that. It just, we in a societal norm based upon American money and stuff like that, and American capitalism and stuff like that, that people was able to capitalize and make an industry out of that in general. But y'all get what I'm trying to say. So just in general, from Astrology having a sun in Libra and it squares against her Neptune, right? The way how A$AP Rocky wants to be seen and the way he wants to be perceived and the things he likes to act upon based upon his enlightenment and his viewpoints, right? It causes frustrations for Rihanna when it comes to her dreams and imagination. The way how A$AP Rocky wants to be seen based upon his relationships and his relatability, and him initiating and creating new ways to think and communicate and make things balanced and fair. She just cares about the status. She just cares about her career. She just cares about her positioning. She just cares about how she wants to be broadcasted. She just cares about the materialization based upon her public persona and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? She's going based upon her standing on business. And then the way A$AP Rocky likes to be seen, he cares about the relationships, but he ain't caring about the business aspects of his relationship. You get it? So it's kind of like, that's her dream to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like her dreams, her fantasy, her imagination, the way she goes through escapism and stuff like that is her escape, doing things like that. So it's going to cause a frustration between Rocky and Rihanna based upon him wanting to be seen for this. But when it comes to her dreams and imagination and her fantasy realm and stuff like that, she wants to be seen for that. And the way how they can get over that challenge or that frustration is Rocky helps Rihanna with understanding it's not all about business. And you know what I'm saying? It's going to be about the relationships that you gain over time based upon the business, but it's not all about just the business. It's just the relationships and the love and appreciation and the love that you gain over time from doing what you do. Is not all about the business. It's not all about the material success. It's not all about the accolades when it comes to that. And then Rihanna teaches Rocky when it comes to that frustration sometimes it is about the business though. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like yeah, you got all those relationships and you know how to be charming, you know how to be relatable and stuff like that. You know how to be loved out and appreciated for what you do, but you ain't doing nothing with it. You're not doing anything to where you can get success off of it. You're not doing anything to where you could get materialization off of it. You're not doing anything where you can capitalize off of that though. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing that even though they're gonna go through the different frustrations, that's the thing that Rocky can help Rihanna realize, and those are the things that Rihanna can help Rocky realize when it comes to how he wants to be seen and whatnot. And also, yeah, like, and then the opposite when it comes to Rihanna, when it comes to her dreams and imagination, sometimes she can get real delusional when it comes to her dream of her doing that and her being all business, no emotion type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes yeah, sometimes you need to learn how to like chill type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you need to not go that hard when it comes to that. Sometimes you need to stop standing on business so hard about that because it's going to turn to a thing of you having, because business wise it's going to be really successful, but personal life and relationship wise it's not going to be that beneficial because people are not going to feel like you're genuinely trying to get to know them, or you're genuinely trying to connect with them and stuff like that, or you're genuinely trying to relate to them. They're just going to feel like you're trying to get something out of them for the sake of business. And then that's it. You know what I'm saying? That's the coldest, simplest way to explain that shit. And then last one, yeah. Him having his moon in Cancer and it trining her North Node in Pisces. Now, yeah, moon in Cancer. Now the moon likes being in Cancer because the moon rules over Cancer. So that's just initiating creating new ways to deal with the emotions and feelings based upon a comfort zone, based upon making your private your things that you had to do in private and letting that be seen, letting your emotions and feelings be seen, your comfort zone being seen, because it's a summertime sign. So it's kind of like nurturing, taking care of something. It's that motherly type of energy, right? So their emotions and feelings is going to be on a sleeve. So you're going to see their soft spot. You're going to see their comfort zone. You're going to see their family. You know what I'm saying? And even if it's not their family, like their actual real life family, people who they consider family, or things that are familial to them. So the things that they like to do, just in general, based upon their environment, things that are familial for them to do, and domestic issues. So yeah, because it's fourth house. So also domestic issues and stuff like that. So things of the home, and not necessarily them actually going through home domestic issues. Like they was, you know what I'm saying? Like things going on inside the house that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like the mom and dad ain't getting along, their siblings and stuff like that. They don't get along and stuff like that, even though it does lead to that. But it's basically just issues when it comes to where you feel at home at. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like turning a house into a home. So you could be in somebody else's house, but it don't feel comfortable to you. You don't feel at home being over that friend's house and stuff like that, compared to you going to your cousin's house and you've been hanging out with them since childhood and stuff like that. Even though it's not your house, it feels comfortable for you to be at because you love your cousins and that's where you feel at home at. You get it? You know what I'm saying? That's like you moving to a different city and stuff like that, and you live in a different house in California, but you ain't from there like that. But you're moving there for whatever reason, but you was born and raised in like New York, just like A$AP Rocky, and that's your home. You get it? You know what I'm saying? So it's like turning a house into a home type shit. If I want to turn into an allegory to make that make sense. So it's kind of like that. So it's a trine. So it's a natural gift, talent, and ability towards her North Node. And the North Node just means spiritual growth. That's the simplest way of how you can explain it. And spiritual growth don't happen without you putting yourself in a space that you're uncomfortable at, which leads to things like anxiety or unfamiliarity and stuff like that. But you end up understanding how to put yourself in that space. So it's kind of like putting yourself in front of a million people type shit. You know what I'm saying? So you don't even know these people, but you know how to be yourself, even if you're in an unfamiliar space. So it's like a space within a space. So you're able to be comfortable being uncomfortable, so to speak. But that leads to spiritual growth. And that's all spirituality is, just in general. And then her North Node is in Pisces. and Pisces is a wintertime type sign. So it's you being mutable, adaptable, changeable, adjustable, switching up when it comes to your own or other people's ways when it comes to dealing with the emotions and feelings. And it's better supported by the 12th house. And that deals with, dreams, illusions, self undoing, mysticism and stuff like that. Things that are cold, dead, distant, and mysterious, and things that, you know what I'm saying, like pertain, like it's always going to pertain to something like really mystical, but in the sense of like it being mysterious. So it's kind of like you don't really understand it, and it's so far away from your own personal outlook because it's the tail end of something. It's the last of something. So you're not putting yourself first no more, like the first house, it being early and stuff like that. Now it's late. Now it's last. So it's kind of like you going through the whole process. It's you going through the whole mechanism, and you at the last steps of that mechanism. So it's going to be the collective, right? That's why when it comes to Pisces or like the 12th house and stuff like that, they always be talking about, the collective conscious and stuff like that. They're just talking about it in an allegorical type of sense, even though it can lead to stuff like that. But it's something, we can all collectively be a part of. And when it comes to wintertime, that's when things are cold, dead, distant, and things are frozen. So from it being frozen cold and things being stopped, you like to be absorbed into that. When things get frozen cold and they're stopping, you like to absorb into what everyone else is doing when things stop, for the most part. So when things get fully accumulated, and try to find a way that it can be relatable towards everybody, because Pisces is a Venusian type sign, because Venus is exalted in Pisces. So that love, value, and appreciation, compromise, and relatability, and finding the beauty with the whole process in itself, all the creation, all possibilities, right? The universe. So you like to fall in love and get overly soaked up into and absorbed into what everybody's doing, so to speak. It's just Pisces get really delusional and stuff once they start to take away from themselves too much, and they start getting lost into what other people are doing. So look at that as like, that's like you being African and you trying to be inclusive. So it's kind of like you're going to get down with what some Europeans are doing, or you get in there with what some Mexican is doing, but it's not your culture. It's not to say you can't get into that, but it's like you'll get so lost into that to the point to where you're not even representing your own culture because you ain't European and you ain't Mexican. You get what I'm saying? Like, so it's kind of like you have to make a way to where you can represent in a way of you being African American or you being black, and you're able to take the sauce from Europeans or take the sauce from Mexicans, and you're able to meld it together in like a gumbo pot and make some new gold or new creativity to make it so other people can be a part of your way of how to go about it, but you still have your unique way of how you go about it, so to speak. You get what I'm saying? That's the simplest way of how I can explain it. And in Pisces, they love to do that because it's being mutable, adaptable, changeable to their own way of feeling and other people's ways of feeling. The only problem is they get delusional once they care about other people's ways of experiencing, other people's dreams, other people's imagination. And they do know how to make something for the collective conscious. They can make it something everyone can relate to, everyone can be a part of and stuff like that. But then sometimes they end up sucking themselves out and they start looking like they need a straitjacket, or they start looking like they out of their fucking mind because they always try to compartmentalize, because their opposite is Virgo, compartmentalize or be in a pattern, schedule, routine of trying to cater to everybody all the time, but you never cater to what you want to do. But they feel weird in their energy because they're a mutable sign, because they always feel like, I gotta care about other people's feelings and other people's emotions and stuff like that. No, bitch, how do you feel? Nigga, do you feel comfortable? And they willing to like keep on working themselves to death and stuff like that, to try to make everyone a part of what they already into, right? And making it relative to what everyone else is into and stuff like that. But it's kind of like you never did nothing for yourself. So that's when they have to learn how to hang around some like a Scorpio or like a Cancer initiating the wave. Scorpios know to hold on to the submerged version of the wave. And then Pisces, they like being the whole fucking ocean. You know what I'm saying? Like a Scorpio and stuff like that, they like going into the depths and have their own little pool, and they don't really care about initiating the wave like that. They just like being in their own pool type shit. And then Pisces, they like being like the whole fucking ocean and stuff like that everyone can jump into and go to the beach when it's hot as fuck outside. You know what I'm saying, 90, 100 degrees and stuff like that, and everyone can go to the Six Flags water park and all that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like simple shit like that. So from Rocky's comfort zone being in Cancer, right, which is already the comfort zone of where the moon like to be, initiating creating new ways to deal with their emotions and feelings, is going to add a natural gift, talent, and ability towards Rihanna's spiritual growth because it's in Pisces. So she feels her spiritual growth comes the most when she tries to make something a part of the collective conscious. And that's the simplest way of how I can explain that, based upon her own dreams and imagination, and her creating a way to make people soak into that imagination, make people soak into that way of feeling, right? And she able to make music or able to make lingerie or able to make things that everyone could be a part of, that everyone could get their own feeling or get their own experience or you know what I'm saying, get their own knowledge of how to go about it and stuff like that, but her still being Rihanna at the same time. You get what I'm saying? So Rocky's comfort zone of what he likes to do, it is going to add a natural talent, gift, and ability when it comes to how he deals with his emotions and feelings and how he likes to self-reflect. Is going to add on to the spiritual growth of what Rihanna wants to do. And like I was saying before, because yeah, she is a Pisces, but it's a cusp. So from her having an Aquarius Pisces cusp, she's not really going to care about the collective conscious all the time. Sometimes she want to be fixated on her own way of thinking and communicating, and in her comfort zone is Aries shit, and then she creating new ways to see and feel based upon her first intent. You know what I'm saying? Her putting herself first, and the way how she visualize. And based upon that, sometimes she could be in an ego to where she ain't really caring about how anybody else gonna see it. That's just how she want to express herself. So that's the thing that Rocky helps her with, right? That comfort zone of some motherfuckers ain't gonna be comfortable with how you express yourself in that type of way. Try to make that more relative in a way to where everyone could be a part of it, and that's gonna make her feel like she's having some spiritual growth. You know what I'm saying? That's like her, even though she never drop another album, but that's like her trying to drop a new album and she's making it current to what's going on now instead of trying to recreate anti type shit, or her trying to recreate loud, or her trying to recreate the bro, what's the album in 2012? Or like her trying to recreate Ponder Replay a million times, or her trying to recreate Disturbia a million times, or her trying to recreate word, you know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't in 2016. That's the only time that worked, during 2016. Now we 10 years later, 2026. That's not gonna hit now, type shit, because we 10 years removed from that. So now you have to do things that's more relative, or what's more on trend now when it comes to pop, R&B, and hip hop music. You get what I'm saying? And that's her main genres. So it's like that. If I want to make that mad simple, even though Rocky makes like niche, experimental, indie type of music, he still has that mainstream appeal. So he knows how to initiate and create new ways to deal with the emotions and feelings when it comes to that. So he knows how to initiate some new shit that people can feel the vibe of, right? But it's and he gonna be pushing for that. So it's gonna still be niche in his comfort zone of how, you know, his music taste and what he caters to and stuff like that. But he's able to do it in a way that even mainstream listeners could be a part of. Oh yeah, I'm gonna throw in a pop song, but it still feel experimental. It still feel alternative type shit. And that energy in itself is gonna help Rihanna with her creative process and stuff like that. In the sense of, you know what I'm saying, her spiritual growth, because Rocky could put Rihanna on to some new type of artists that are underground, they're not even mainstream like that and stuff like that, that can add on to her next drop. And that's like her getting like, what's a good example? Even though this would never happen. This is like Fake Mink being on like a Rihanna album and shit. And because I saw some shit that A$AP Rocky fuck with Fake Mink, new music and stuff like that. That's like the simplest way of how I could explain that shit. You know what I'm saying? Or like, who's on his recent album? Like Sauce Walker. That's like Sauce Walker be on a Rihanna album, but the only reason you know that is because he knows Sauce Walker and he was on the album, and then he did a crazy verse, and then it put Rihanna on who Sauce Walker is, and then, you know what I'm saying? And that's something that's new, that's more current, up to date, and stuff like that, that people are fucking with now. Or like her getting Brit Fives on the album. Oh yeah, he's popping the R&B right now and stuff like that. So it's gonna add on to the collective conscious of the world that Rihanna trying to build and stuff like that whenever her next music drop. I'm just using, like, you know, her doing music as like an allegory, so I can make it make sense when it's talking about the North Node and how his comfort zone is going to be a natural ability, gift, and talent that's going to make it so, it's going to add to her spiritual growth, to where it can add a more comfort zone towards her spiritual growth, instead of her dictating her spiritual growth based upon it being for the collective conscious all the time, right? Or everyone can be a part of the dream and stuff like that. He reminds her, sometimes you have to do something based upon what's comfortable for you to do, not based upon what everyone else want you to do. You get what I'm saying? And then that's it.